right, so today we're going to talk about data management. So some tools that are in Counterpoint that will allow you to get quick access to the data that you need to run your business. So on the agenda today, we'll be looking at modifying lookups. We'll be looking at creating reports on the fly, bulk updates utilizing table view. And we're going to talk about how you can do blanket price changes, markups, or markdowns. And then save and load parameters. I've got a little special treat on that section because it's such a small topic. So we'll do some menu editing there too to kind of show you how you can drag and drop a report into a folder. That might have been on part one, but I'm going to go through it on this part as well. Okay, so let's start with modifying lookups. So I'm going to flip over to Counterpoint. Hopefully that worked and you guys can all see my Counterpoint menu. Okay, terrific. All right, so we're going to look at modifying lookups. So why would you want to modify a lookup? Well, I'll show you. So I'm going to go into touchscreen and let's say I'm a cashier and I want the ability to get quick access to data. Okay, so in order to do that, you might want to go to your the magnifying glass. This is a lookup. So we're going to actually spend the first two topics we're going to spend in lookups because this is also how you do a quick report. So let's say I want to add something to my lookup, something that maybe isn't here. I can simply go to my top menu here and I can right click on this and I can go to my column designer. And then from here, I can just start adding things that I might want to see in my lookup. So I have description 1, but maybe I also want description 2 in there in case there's more information that needs to be given to customers before they buy. And I'll add my profile field that I created called season into that view as well. So we'll go ahead and add that. So now I've basically added these columns. So let's say somebody comes up to me and says, hey, can you tell me what you have for summer plants? I can simply go here and I can sort accordingly and then bring that summer option into view. So that may be a reason why you want it. You may also want the description field so that if somebody asks a question, if this particular plant requires full sun, you can go to lookup and actually see that in the description field. What you can also do is if I go to column designer, okay, back to column designer, I can do things like customize under the next tab. I can change field labels. So if I wanted to change this field label to something else, I could do that. Let's say I want to change this to SKU. Okay, so now it's changed up here. I can also highlight if I go to quantity available, and let's say I want to make sure that it's quick and easy for people to see, I can go ahead and highlight that so that you can see, you know, if somebody asks you for the quantity, you can go right to the highlighted section and say there's X amount in stock. And then let me see what else you can do. You can change your alignment, you can change your fonts. So you can do a lot of things. You can bold the data. You can also, so this is the title, but let's say I also wanted to make sure that all the data is highlighted as well. You could do that as well. So back to column designer, under column options, there's 2 sections. One is title and one is data. And so you can modify each of those. Okay, so once you get your lookups just the way you like it, you would then go to options, and then you can go save as. And if you save as a default, you're going to be saving for everyone. But if you just want to save for a particular user, you can save for that user. And then now this is my lookup. I always have the option to go back to the default, but I have the option for my specific lookup as well. Okay, so that's modifying lookups. Now, lookups are all over Counterpoint. So you could modify lookup for vendors, you can modify lookup for items, you can modify lookup for customers. So it's all over Counterpoint. In fact, the next topic that we're going to talk about is doing a quick report. I'll go back to a few years back. I had a customer who said, how can I just get a quick customer report so I can export that and upload that into Customer Connect? I don't think it was Customer Connect. I think it was a different, like Constant Contact. So what I suggested they do is go to Customers and then go to the Customer tab. And then from here, we're going to go back to Lookup. And now we're going to generate a quick report out of this. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to go to my column designer at the top. And now I'm going to say, I don't want that. Let's remove that. Let's remove the AR account. So I don't necessarily need the customer number because this is just going to be a mailing list. And I want to put my address in there. And I can move that up too, so you can order it accordingly. So I want my name, address, city and state. We'll do my zip code and phone number. And then I want my email. Okay, and then maybe, let me see, look for my contacts. Maybe add your contacts in there as well, wherever they are. So contact one, and we'll put them at the top. Okay. Okay, so at this point, let me see what I got here. Okay, so this is my contact report. All right. At this point, you can do a lot of you can do some stuff with this. So let's say you just want to dump it into a CSV file. From here, you can just go right click, export data, and then create a CSV file out of it. And if you're looking to put it into Constant Contact or MailChimp or one of those other solutions, then all you really want is a CSV file, and that's a great way to get the data out. You can also do a preview, and this is my report. Okay, so this is the report I just built. And then from here, you can do kind of the same thing. You can hit the envelope and you can save it into a PDF. You can save it to Excel data only. We can also save it to a CSV file. Okay, and so those are called quick reports. So wherever you have a lookup in Counterpoint, you can turn that lookup into a quick report. So again, inventory, vendors, customers, wherever you want to, create a report for that. And so did I save this? No, I didn't. So I'm going to go to Save As, and we'll call it my customer list. Okay, so now I have my default lookup and my customer list lookup. So I can go back to my default, and that's all still there, but I also have my customer lookup as well. Okay, so that's quick reports. So that's creating a report on the fly utilizing quick reports. And I have this all documented because I have kind of step-by-steps. So we'll also have the recording for you, but Ryan will also share out the documentation that I put together as well. Kind of helps me stay on track, and it's also something I can share as well.
Darlene,
right.
Yes. I have a quick question. The modifying lookups and the creating reports on the fly, is that something that any user can do, or do you need specific permissions?
You can set permissions so that only certain people can do it. I'm at a manager level, so I can do it. But
yeah. Okay, great.
All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go into bulk updating utilizing table view. First, before we do that, I'm going to go to data interchange. So if I'm not sure if this was on the last topic as well, but I think it's important because a lot of times what happens is you'll get a vendor item list that you're going to want to put into Counterpoint. And then once it's in Counterpoint, you have the ability to go to table view and do your bulk changes and updates. So I'm going to start with data interchange. Okay, I'm going to click data import, Okay, this is data interchange for those of you who haven't seen it before. You can import a CSV file. And what I've done in the past is sometimes I'll export my item file and look at my column headers and rows and set them up accordingly. We also have templates that we can provide you to kind of help you out with that so that you have the proper columns and rows that Counterpoint is looking for. So I'm going to be using a template that has the formats that is going to easily match. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to go and look for my data template. So I'm going to go to my data import, and this is my sample item list that I'm going to import. Okay. Now I'm bringing in an item list. So I want to go to inventory. So I am inventory management. And then I'm looking for items. And I got to find my item table. It's down here somewhere. Okay, here it is. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to match these fields to these fields. And because I started with a template that has the proper field headings, I can simply go, I want to show the first line. So this is what's in my spreadsheet. Okay, those are the proper field formats. And then now I want to use the header to match the fields. So as you can see, my item number is matching description. All these fields are matching accordingly. Okay, and that's because I started with that template. So in data interchange, you can use data interchange to like update pricing, because we're going to talk about blanket price updates. You could update pricing if you wanted to, so you can do an update or add new. So it's a great tool either way. So in this case, we're going to add new. Not going to do it to my database because it happens to be vape items and I don't want it in my garden database, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you can go ahead and verify that. So you hit the verify button. It's going to tell you whether or not it's, it's good. If you get an error message, you need to go back to your template and determine what that is. It'll actually give you some details so you can dig deeper on it. Okay, so this is good. So at this point, I could just hit import. And then when I do that, it's in a matter of seconds, those items are in my database. Okay, so what do you do once the items are in your database? All right, so what I suggest you do, and what I do every time I kind of start with a demo, is I'll go into inventory and then items. And then I use this table view to bring me into table view. And it's going to show me all of my items. Okay, so from here, I mean, there's all my items. So I might, you probably want to filter down. If you're working with a specific vendor, you'll want to filter down just to those vendors' items. I'll do my pet supplies. No, let's not do pet. Let's do Excalibur Nursery. Oh, whoops, sorry. I hit cancel. Okay. Okay, so these are my items from Excalibur Nursery. And now I can go ahead and make some on-screen editing with this. I can also use Column Designer again to add other rows in. So if I want to add my description 1, description 2, that season field, which I love, I can add that right in here. And then from here, you can start, anything you change in here is going to be changed immediately to the database. So let's say I want to change these because these are spring flowers. I can make those changes. You can also copy. So if you wanted to copy, let's say copy and paste, you can do your copy paste functions in Counterpoint. And then there is a trick to copying down a row of items, which I'm going to share with you in the document. For some reason, I wasn't able to do it in my demo, so I'm not even going to fumble around and try, but I'll give you the steps to do that. But this is basically editing items in table view. I do want to say also, and I see that we have a question, we'll go to that in 1 second. I do want to say also that you can do a right click and export data as well. So this is also a great place to, like, if you want to edit certain items, bring those items into Excel, you can utilize that export item function also. Ryan, did you want to read that question?
Sure thing. They're wondering where they can get those templates that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, um, you can reach out to your account manager, your sales account manager. They can help you out with that. Or if you're talking to the support department, they have access to the templates as well.
We have one more question here that just came in. When you do data interchange and import many items, does it update the database for all locations? I.e., if you have multiple stores pulling from the same database?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to allow you the ability to choose a main location or all locations.
Great.
Yeah. Actually, let me back up on that answer. So basically, once you bring the items in, you're going to create inventory for the main location or all locations. So it is a second step. You're going to have to go through that create inventory piece to bring all those items in to all the locations.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. So the next option that we're going to talk about is markups and markdowns. Okay. So I'm going to get out of this. And we're going to go into price sheets. For those of you who don't use this function in Counterpoint, it's amazing. So that magnifying glass will allow you to click search and you can go into anything you're looking for. So I can go ahead to get into price sheets from here. Okay, this is my price sheets. You can also find it. I'm going to just go out and show you guys where it is. It lives in inventory and in prices, and it's price sheets. Okay, so price sheets, what that does is it allows you the ability to do blanket price changes. These prices can be saved for future reference if you want to enact them at a later point in time, or you can make the changes immediately. It also creates an event so you can reprint labels as well to get you those new prices. So we'll go ahead and let's say it's EXE increase. Okay, so this is going to be my Excalibur is increasing prices by 10%. Okay, so at this point, if I hit my tab, it's going to get my items, or I can click get items. Okay, so this is my get items field. Now from here, you can use your filters. So I can pull in item by item, description, category, subcategory, vendors, which we're going to do. If you don't see the box you want to change the price on the items, anywhere where you see a filter in Counterpoint, you have the ability to do a right click and customize. And what that is going to do is going to allow you to add another filter box in the view. Now, I like to go with my season because the item actually does not exist in Counterpoint, but I created it out of a profile field. So I like to show that example because once you create an item, create a field out of a profile field, it becomes part of your database and you can do basically anything with it. So you can do special pricing, you can do filtered lookups, you know, and anything you want as if it's a field, as if it was a field in Counterpoint to begin with. So if I wanted to do a seasonal markdown, I brought in my season field and I can say, okay, now for all my summer items that I have tagged in my database, I want to get those items and do a price reduction. So that was just an example. We're not going to do that right now because I don't know how many items I have listed that way. But what we are going to do is we're going to find my vendor, Excalibur Nursery. Now they basically just increase their prices, so I need to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my Get Items button here. Okay, and so these are my items from Excalibur. I can click this, select all items, and then I can go ahead and add it to my price sheet. So this is my price sheet. All right, so these are all my Excalibur items. From here, there's a button which is hidden by my toolbar, so hopefully, I don't think you guys see that, but let me move that along. So I can hit my calculate button here, and it's going to let me do some calculations. I can also just make changes if I want to. Okay, so you can just make changes. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit the calculate button. Okay, and so these are your options. So you can set an amount. So let's say all these hanging baskets are, I want to sell them for $1 and get them out of here. So I could do that. I can set a margin. So I can set a margin, target margin, minimum margin, or specific margin. I can just do an increase. So I can increase or decrease by an amount or a percentage, which is what we're going to do here. Or I can set my price based on my item price being price 1, increase by amount, etc. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do an increase by percentage, and then we're going to do 10%. Okay, and then you can also do a rounding value too. So if you want everything to end in 99, we can do a rounding value on that. By the way, if you're using Roundup, that's not what I would recommend. End it in 95, that way you get that extra 5 cents, not 1 cent. All right, so now, and if you don't know what Roundup is, let us know. We do have a Roundup function that will allow you the ability to round up change at the register for donation purposes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply here. And so as you can see, these are my price changes. So these are the changes on my prices. And at this point, let me see. Okay, so yeah, so here's these are my changes. At this point, if I want to, I can go ahead and save this, which I probably should have did ahead of time. So yeah, I kind of went off script there. Sorry, apparently I just applied those prices, but what you probably want to do, unless you're going to do it right then and there, is you'll want to hit that save button first, and that will save your price increase till you're ready to apply it. Okay, I can, it's all documented in this document on how to do that, so. All right. Okay, so that's basically a blanket price change. The next topic is saving parameters for reports and reloading them. So, I mean, I could do this in 3 seconds. So I'm gonna also add, adding it to a folder on your desktop. So let's look for a report. I'll do my favorite report, which is the merchandise analysis report, and I'm gonna load that. Okay, so once you have the merchandise analysis report, you can do a lot of things with it. So for example, I'm gonna go to the options here, and I'm gonna load parameters. These are all the different reports that this one report can be. So it can be a purchase analysis report, my top 50, a category report, cost summary report. So when we say save your parameters, that's essentially what you're doing. You're going to come here and save your parameters, and then you'll have the ability to reload it. So that's basically the topic, and that's everywhere where you have reports in Counterpoint that you can do that. And I didn't want to get out of that yet. Oh, sorry. Now I'm done. Okay, let me go back into that. All right, so let's go ahead and do this exercise. So I'm going to analyze this report by group, and I want it to be my, let's say, back to season. This will be a seasonal group report, and I want to do my top 100, and I'm going to rank by sales, and I will do a custom view here. So to make sure we have plenty of data. All right. And then from here, you can do all locations, a location group, or a single location. I'm going to show some graphics. I can add columns. So if I don't want this profit percentage here, I can take that out and then maybe add returns to the report. Okay. And this is a filter, so you can filter things out. Again, whenever there's a filter, you can customize a block and add that in. Okay, so there we go. That's going to be my report. Okay, not much of a report. So at this point, once I have my report, I can hit the save button and then do the same thing. You can save multiple formats. Okay, but I'm going to close this and I'm going to save my parameters. And this is going to be my top 100 season report. Okay, and I can make it public, or it could just be my report. So we'll keep it public. All right. So now if I go back to load, I should see that report there. There we go. All right. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put it in my managers folder right here. So this is my managers report folder. So I'm going to go up to menu codes, and menu codes you can also find in system and then menus, but I'm going to type it up here and look for menu codes. Okay, so this is your menu codes that you basically create, or maybe we created when we got you started for your user groups. So I'm a manager, so this is my manager user group. So I can hit the menu editor function here, and now it's going to bring up my menus. So this is my menu, my manager menu. Okay, so it looks similar to this. That's what I have here. And this is the default menu here on the right. Okay, so I want to go into inventory and find that report that I did. So I want to find merchandise analysis. So I'm going to go to reports and merchandise analysis. Okay, I'm going to expand these as well. Okay, let's go to merchandise analysis again. Okay, so it's over here as well, but that's because it's a different report. So if I click on that, you can see this is not defined, but you know what? Let's move it so it's not confusing. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to my merchandise analysis report. All right, and now I'm going to take this and drag and drop it into my managers folder. Okay, now if I now went into this, it's just going to say merchandise analysis report, and it's just going to load the merchandise analysis report, not the specific parameter report that I created. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to click on that report on the custom menu side, and now I'm going to name that report. So this is going to be so my top season report. All right, and then I'm going to come down here where it says report parameters, and I'm going to find that. So where's my top season report? Let's see, where are you? There we go. So my top 100 season report. All right, so there we go. So now when I go into my folder, I'm going to hit close. I'm going to hit save. And then I think I'm going to have to save it one more time. And I'll get out of that. And then we'll go into reports. And there's my top season report. So now when I click on that, all I have to do is preview, and all my parameters are saved, and it will pull up the report. All right, I think that's the end of our topics today. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Hopefully you picked up at least one or two things here that you can add to your daily activities.